So the glimpse practice I now want to share with you. So with this glimpse practice, it is like, part of this exploration is to listen to a lot of glimpse practices from different teachers, from different traditions. And some of them, they will not make sense to you at all, because in a way they don't make sense. But sometimes you will get a glimpse practice and something in you responds, something in you has this, yeah. Oh, now it's gone again. And so yeah, wow, yes. And it could be that the same glimpse practice said by another teacher will make the trick. It could be also that you need to listen 5 years to the same glimpse practice. And suddenly it's like, that's what he means. Why couldn't I see it from the beginning? It's so obvious. But it's not something you can force. It's not something, I need to try harder to understand the glimpse practice. That's no. So it's like, it's like listen to poems, yeah? Without trying to understand the poem, but to feel the poem. What is it what the artist wants to say? An artist wants to transmit a human experience through a poem. So hang around, not necessarily with me, because maybe I'm not the one. Yeah, I mean the one. I can teach you, but I can teach you focus attention. I can do that. That's helpful anyway. Yeah, and then sometimes I will throw in a glimpse practice, and you see what happens. But also focus attention will help you to get ready for the one who then will transmit this to you. Yeah, so you make yourself ready, you prepare. Yeah. So the glimpse practice, I will share you. So we will do some focused or flexible and maybe open, depending on where you are and what you need. And the glimpse practice comes from the Mahamudra tradition, and it is like this. The next thought you're going to have, where will it come from? Look. That's the glimpse practice. So now, with all glimpse practices, they are not invitation to get out the book about brain science. Yeah, thoughts, maybe you have some idea, like maybe you are a materialist and you think that thoughts are generated in the brain. Yeah? No, put that away. So the glimpse practices are invitation to look. Like tasting an apple. Not reading a book about an apple, but tasting. Yeah? So the next thought you're going to have, where will it come from? So the thought is a phenomena, right? It's something is something happening, yeah? So it needs to come from somewhere. Nothing can create nothing can create something. It needs to come from somewhere. So where does it come from? And trusting that actually through introspection you have the capacity to explore your own consciousness. So I will ask the question at one point, and you just notice what happens for you. It does not make sense. Really. And that freaks people out who think that they can think their way out of this. And although nothing has worked, because they are still in misery, they still try to find some information, some way of thinking, which will somehow break I mean, they try to do again and again what has not worked so far. And some are hoping it will work. I just need to work harder on my thinking. And that, for that part in us, this kind of glimpse practices and this kind of teachings, they freak us out. It's like, yeah. So if you get upset with me, that's a good sign. It's a bit difficult for me, but it's a good sign for you. It's such a shift and a relief when you start to understand there's nothing to understand. Here, of course, there's a lot of things to understand, yes, but here. That what we are talking about here is not an object of knowledge. And that's what the Buddha says. It's not that I make that up. It's not an object of knowledge. It's undescribable, ungraspable. You can't understand it. That's good news, because you have already not understood it. So the work of not understanding it is already done. Even the Buddha didn't understand this. Nobody understood this. So what are we doing here? What the heck are we doing here? I'm wondering sometimes. So what I hope is that what I'm saying here does not make the fish swimming faster, but that the fish gets invited to slow down and to trust and to relax. Wow, I am what I'm seeking. I'm already what I'm seeking. What I'm seeking is what is seeking. What I'm seeking, that's Franciscus of Assisi. What I'm seeking is what is doing the seeking. I'm already there. Heaven is now. That's what Jesus said. There's only God, there's only Spirit. The seeking itself is God. The longing for Allah is Allah. This is it. And in a way, it's silly now to start to meditate. Right? For what? Nevertheless. We are perfect, but there's room for improvement. So, yeah. With the out breath, so you see if you can soften, sliding into presence. So sliding into the present moment where you are already. Because this is it. This is everything. So you're already there in the present moment. But maybe we can celebrate it or appreciate it. And there's a bit of a shift from the head into the body. A bit of stabilizing with the breath or with the sounds or whatever works for you. Something you can bring into the foreground through focused awareness. An anchor, like to find an anchor. Appreciating that everything happens by itself. So breath is happening, and thoughts are happening, sensations are happening, this voice is happening. It's all happening. You can relax. And then the possibility to lovingly attend to that which presents itself. If nothing particular presents itself, you can shift into open panoramic awareness. Allowing this moment to be, meditating like the sky. And resting. If you get lost or space out, you might want to narrow focus, go more into focus awareness. Focus in and then focus out. Returning, resting, opening. If tension builds up, softening. So like the pilots letting go of the steering wheel. Then if you slide into open awareness, you might get a sense of the stillness, the peace which arises between us when we sit quietly together, protected by the teachings of the Buddha. As if you're meditated by the presence of the group. Listen with your heart. Listen into infinity. Listen to that which is listening. Timeless, boundaryless, groundless, listening. Forget yourself. You're not important. The next thought you're going to have, where will it come from? Look right there. The next thought you're going to have, where will it come from? What is looking? Where are you looking from? The next thought you're going to have, where will it come from? Look. Is there a thought? A mental image? Where did it come from? Just wait for the next thought. Wait from where it appears, and then you look there. You look into that direction. Relax. And what is looking? Where's the looking come from? Where are you looking from? So now you relax with the out breath. And just resting in what is for you. give up thinking. Just rest in natural peace. And then towards the end of this meditation, I invite you to share or send out whatever space, whatever silence, whatever relief you experienced into the city. Into your home. To your children, parents, partner, lovers, friends. There's an ocean of calm, an ocean of peace, surrounding, pervading everything. We just need to become aware of it. That ocean of calm is in the nature of love, and it's creative, intelligent. Love wants to move through you. So it's a bit difficult to give advice into this because nobody has figured it out, and we are also different. So even this is provisional, but you need to make your path by walking. And it's an individual path. What you bring into this moment, what you need, is so different for all of us. but maybe there's some general kind of helpful guidelines. Yeah. So, and then playing with focused awareness, flexible awareness, open awareness. Try to get, if this move of open awareness, if that speaks to you, try to find some instructions on shamatha without object. If you Google that, you will. There's some teachings around. They are not kind of given widely, but so Mingyur Rinpoche or Tsoknyi Rinpoche, they teach shamatha without object. And then glimpse practices. Listen to teachers from different traditions, and you listen to those instructions as if you're listening to poems, and then notice what happens. In the Tibetan tradition, they say it's like walking through the mist until you're wet. And there's very few people in every generation who have this kind of, and probably some of you secretly hope for that. I wouldn't put my cards onto that. It could, there's still a possibility, but it's like 5 people in each generation. So for most people, it's a gradual process. So responding to glimpse practices in different depths, in different stability, and becoming familiar with natural awareness in a gentle way, so that slowly you get wet. And one day you say, "Wow, I'm wet. How does that happen? How did this happen? I not even noticed the moment when it happened." So there is some people who say, "Yeah, I had this awakening moment in the past, like a distinct shift." But I think for most people, it's more gradual, that you hardly notice it, and then suddenly you realize, "Wow, I'm in a different place. I'm suddenly not anxious anymore." And I don't remember when that happened. Then, as I said, most of the Buddhist teachings, they create a foundation. And one way how in the Tibetan tradition this foundation is made is through what is called the Lamrim teachings. So Lamrim means gradual path to awakening. So it's a bit a paradox. On one hand, you don't need to do anything. On the other hand, time-tested, it seems that there is unhelpful things to stop to do and helpful things to do. And anyway, through the helpful things to do, you will feel better. So, and it's better to feel better than feeling worse. Feeling better is not it. It's not the water, but it's better to feel better. So the Lamrim, the foundational teachings, the gradual path of awakening. And this is like an overview, a description of the Buddhist path in a consistent way. It's logical, it's something to understand, so that your wanting to understand mind will be very satisfied by the Lamrim teachings. You can gather information, you can read books, so for the intellectual, for the wanting to know mind, these teachings are excellent. And it seems really, somehow, I have not understood why, that it becomes more likely that you wake up. I mean, if you look into the history into the personal history of people who teach awakening, who give non-dual teachings, although they say there's nothing to do, if you look into their personal history, they actually did a lot. They didn't just watch Netflix. Yeah. Most of them did some kind, and a lot, like 30, 40 years, of Lamrim practice, gradual path awakening practices. Cultivating compassion, cultivating stable attention, cultivating the realization of emptiness. Somehow there is a kind of connection there. And anyway, we have to do something with our time, so. I mean, we have to fill it somehow. And definitely we can do a lot of things with our time which is not only harmful to ourselves, but also for others. And for this planet. So I'm saying that because tomorrow Venerable Mary will start to teach, or it will give a weekend on the Lamrim, on the gradual path of awakening. And so this will not be here. You will find the address and the times on the Facebook group or Facebook page of the center. Anyway, you will find it. Yeah, I know where it is, but I don't know the label. Yeah. So I recommend that, independent from, maybe you have like a home tradition, or be it a Buddhist tradition or something else. These teachings, they are helpful for any kind of practitioner, no matter what tradition you feel connected with, because it's like it's just one way to structure the teachings of the Buddha. In a way, it makes sense. Okay, there was no time for question, which is good. But next time I will make half-half, because actually part of this is being in dialogue. And part of this is also acknowledging that this transmission can only happen from heart to heart. It's a relational insight. You can have kind of little glimpses in nature, being one with everything. But this is one of the things you can figure a lot of things on the Buddhist on the Buddhist path. You can figure out by yourself. But this you need to have a relationship to someone. That doesn't need to be a guru or a lama or something. Just someone who has a bit more familiarity. And in that relationship, it can be pointed out to you. Yeah. So this is, of course, now I say it in a way as if it's true. I'm not sure about anything, but I'm pretty sure. So I'm enough sure to say it. And it's also my experience, because I know exactly the two masters who pointed this out to me. And I know them. And I've related to them. I worked with them for many, many years. And they pointed this out to me. That was Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Peter Fenner. Thank you very much. Good luck. And maybe see you next week. If not, get it somewhere else. Really. Because this is it.